Okay, there's been a lot of discussion online about a new camera by a company called Light called the L16. It's a very different kind of camera, and luckily I have one here. Lisa got me one for my birthday. She knows I like interesting toys. What makes the L16 so interesting, if you can see the front of it, is it has 16 different lenses that shoot all at the same time. They run the spectrum from very wide to telephoto and different exposure times. And so the thing with the 16 lenses is that when you take a picture with them like that, it makes a nice sound. When you take the picture, you get 16 different variables of the same photograph at the same time. Now, thanks to the miracle of computer processing, the camera actually, the interesting part is not so much the lenses, although they're pretty cool. The interesting part is that the camera then processes all 16 images simultaneously. So it gives you an enormous file. I think it's about 59 megapixel file, but contained within that file is the close-up, the wide, the telephoto, different variable exposures, all within the same string of zeros and ones, which probably goes from here to Mars and back. The thing with the Light is that then when you connect it to the laptop, which I'm going to do in a minute, and process it through the software that they give you, it lays out all the variable options that you can then select from. At the moment, the Light, if you look at the back, you'll see, if you look at the back, you'll see that it's just sort of a giant screen, and there I am coming to you through the 16 variable shots. And of course, it gives you all the parameters and the different exposure variables that you get here, along with the option to take the shot and do a whole bunch of other stuff with it. It's a lovely camera. It's only about $2,000, which is not bad considering all the stuff that it does. It's still kind of in beta. The company, because I don't think there are that many of them sold, so the company's been very, very nice to me when I get in touch with them and have a million questions, which I do, because the software is not all that intuitive to begin with. But as I've begun to play with it, I understand the power that it has. The thing about it is that it's, it's about 4 iPhone 10s stacked up together. But no iPhone 10 is going to give you 59 megapixels. At home, I have a digital Hasselblad, the H4D, which gives you 40 megapixels, but that thing is the size of a Volkswagen, and the lenses are about big, and I think each lens is about $8,000 or $9,000 extra. So I think the whole thing costs about $40,000, $50,000. That's an expensive toy for something that gives you the same resolution as this does. It doesn't do video yet. According to the company, it's going to do video soon. Of course, the Hasselblad doesn't do video either, so it's kind of a moot point. But what I was interested in was this transition of technology. I mean, it used to be, and it still is, that with DSLRs and stuff like that, you put a lens on the front, you take it off, you put another lens on the front, and each lens has variable parameters. Wide angles give you enormous depth of field, but they tend to bend things out. Telephotos push you in, but they compress depth of field. Here, you get 16 lenses all at once, all at the same time, every single time, and there's a lot to be said for that. It is still a project in development in a way, but it's far enough along, so I've been using it, and it's quite interesting. So let's take a look at the software and see what happens after we take the picture. Okay, so now we've brought up the Lumen Beta interface. This is the special editing software that they give you. So it says Lumen Beta. And we've connected the camera. Here's the camera. We've connected the camera with this nice little cable that they give you to the input on the laptop. And right here it says import from L16. So I'm going to hit that. And that gives me the options. These are all the terrible photographs that I took when I was demonstrating, which I'm not going to use. And then these are some that I shot before and imported. Here are a few that the one had the checks is I didn't import. This says import all, select none. I'm not going to select one. I can select one just over here to show you, or two to just show you how this imports. And the ones that were imported, you see it already says imported. And then I hit up here where it says import images. This gives me the option. This would take up 52 gigabytes. So I'm going to start the import. This won't take long. I'm through the miracle of editing. You see the little circle goes around up here. So it's practically done already. And there we are. The import is completed. So here's some of the shots that I imported, just so you get a sense. I shot these in the English countryside. Here I am chain harrowing the fields, in case you didn't think I was much of a chain arrow. If I double click, it brings it up in the interface that allows me to manipulate it, a bit like Photoshop or anything else. What makes it interesting is you'll notice over here it says depth effect. This is where it encompasses all the depth of field, and I can move the depth effect from effective f15.2, which is obviously extremely deep, to an effective f.2, which is going to be more of a telephoto effect. There's not much range in this thing. We could go normally much deeper. Over here, this allows me to pick the points that I want to focus on. If I want to focus on here, for example, that would bring the focal point here. And here, I can actually zoom in to focus up on you see the amazing ability to capture the full range of, as it resolves, the full range of focal plane from still resolving on the bottom. Come along and focus. But it allows you to capture the full range of focus from these extreme close-ups as soon as the thing finishes resolving. There it goes. Okay. Okay, you see the little blue line on the bottom. This reads the resolution. Now, the amazing thing is check out the detail in terms of focus here and see what it represents in terms of the larger picture. So you can focus basically on as much or as little as you want to focus on. Let's lose this thing. You can focus on as much or as little. Here's my old gray head. You can focus on as much or as little as you want to focus on, but the resolution, as it resolves along on the bottom again, remains pretty, you see, it's pretty remarkable. So it captures everything, as I said before, from extremely wide to extreme telephoto, all in one shot in one thing. Over here on the left are the typical sort of controls you get on anything. Sharpening, we can sharpen the thing up a lot. Contrast, exposure, you can brighten it, you can take it down. Saturation, all the stuff that you would normally get with Photoshop. But the interesting thing again here is the incredible detail that captures throughout the entire depth of the photo. It's astonishing, and as I said, they're just getting started. It's still in, look at that. It's still in beta test for a large part, and video hasn't come along. But to me, the thing is just absolutely astonishing. Here's our video. This is our boot camp, by the way, just to show you something else. So I like the camera. I think for $2,000, it's a pretty good buy if you're doing photography. I'll probably take it with me in the field much more than I will take the Hasselblad, and I'm anxiously waiting for it to come into its own in terms of video, which should be interesting in and of itself. So there we are. I hope you found that interesting, and I'll see you next time. Right, just thought I would come back and say goodbye from England, and we'll see what else we can come up with.